Hey everyone, I'm Mind, and this is set number 80056, Nine-Headed Beast from the LEGO Monkey Kid theme. This set contains 757 pieces, 5 minifigures, and more retail for $99.99 in the US, as well as $84.99 in most places in Europe. This set does not officially release until June 1st, 2024 in most parts of the world, and August 1st, 2024 in North America, but it was gifted to me early for review by the LEGO Group through the LEGO Ambassador Network, but all opinions expressed in this video are my own. If you missed it, I'm doing a bunch of early summer 2024 LEGO reviews right now, including more Monkey Kid sets as well as LEGO Ninjago, LEGO Minecraft, LEGO City, and more. So if you enjoy this kind of content and you want to see more, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. That helps to put my videos in your feed as soon as they're posted, and also does a ton to help support me and the channel. Also, let me know in the comments which summer 2024 LEGO Monkey Kid set you want to see an early review on next. So thank you all very much for your support, and now let's get into the review. So upon seeing these Monkey Kid sets, this one was immediately my favorite. It just looks so different from any other LEGO set we've seen, both in terms of like the structure of the build and the color scheme and just everything. So I could not wait to get it built up, and I have to say, I'm pretty happy with the end result. Now there is one major outlier in this set, and that's the price, but I'm going to talk about price at the end of this video. There should be timestamps in the description if you want to skip around. But for the first part of this review, I'm going to focus on just the build. So the Nine-Headed Beast is like this giant bird creature, and I actually quite like that it's a bird. Because from initial impressions, I thought this was just going to be a dragon, and we get dragons all the time in Ninjago and Monkey Kid and in some other themes. And dragons are cool, I love dragons, don't get me wrong. But it's really neat to see how they differentiated this set from a dragon, because it uses a lot of the same design techniques, but it is still very clearly a bird and not a dragon. My favorite part about this set is definitely the color scheme, and a large part of that is these blade pieces that they use. These are pieces that were introduced in Ninjago for, I think, Ninjago Crystallized? I forget if these are the crystallized ones or the core ones. But regardless, this is a Ninjago piece from a couple of years ago, and up until this point, I'm pretty sure we had only gotten it in gold. Teal is obviously a very different color from gold, and that just breathes new life into this part. What was previously a giant sword blade now works perfectly as feathers, and it makes this build super striking. So yeah, you can see 4 of that part is used here for the tail, and that connects on a ball joint, so you're able to move it up and down, as well as move it from side to side ever so slightly. Then the body of the beast uses dark green on the top and bright green on the bottom. And those two colors combined with the teal, I really don't think I've seen a LEGO set with this color scheme before. Because this is Monkey Kid, we get so many sets that use the yellow, red, and teal color scheme, and as someone who reviews Ninjago, lots of Ninjago sets have the same color scheme, because it's themed around each of the characters. But obviously this is themed around an all-new character, and the colors they picked are just so pretty. And I love that normal green's not used at all, it's specifically dark green and bright green. Anyway, there's quite a few sticker pieces here that just add some metallic detailing. I think the silver looks fantastic on top of everything. And these pieces that transition into the tail do a good job to represent feathers. It maybe gets a little bit robotic right here, but overall I think that's somewhat organic. The wings of the beast might be the coolest part. They're these giant vinyl pieces, and Monkey Kid does use a lot of vinyl parts. But these really do look amazing, and I like the subtle orange touches. That's a color that's used very sparsely in the build, and it serves as like the perfect accent color. Then I've got the Nine-Headed Demon themselves standing right here. However, I believe the beast is meant to be a transformation of the Nine-Headed Demon, so in universe you wouldn't have the minifigure riding up there like that. But I'm happy they still included a couple of studs there just for play and for display. Then we come to the heads, and they weren't lying, this is indeed a Nine-Headed Beast. There's 3 different sizes of the heads. We have 6 small heads on top, 2 medium heads on each side, and then of course the big head in the middle. The small medium heads use all new printed eyepieces, and those actually look really great. And I quite like how the small heads were designed, because of course they're meant to be bird-like, so they use these tooth pieces to be little beaks, as well as the leaf pieces at the back to be feathers, and the entire thing's built on top of like one of these sci-fi gun pieces. But that's a very creative use of that part. Then the medium-sized heads I think are probably the worst looking ones. I think the top part of the beak looks really weird here. But you can see these connect to the side of the body on a mini ball joint, almost like arms. So there's a ton of posability on these. You can really change like the way they're looking. But yeah, they use the same printed eyes as the small ones, though with stickered pieces underneath. And we have a few orange feathers coming off the back too. And then finally we have the big head in the center, which connects on a rigid Tectic joint, so there's tons of motion you can get out of that. It's of course able to move up and down, and then you can swivel a thing a full 360. So with those 2 pieces of motion combined, there's lots of different ways you can pose it. The mouth of the beast can also be open and closed. And on the forehead, we have one of the collectibles of this wave attached, one of the 5 color stones. This does use the same printed eyepiece again, but I think it works on this one. It's only the medium-sized head I don't think it does. The mouth I think is a little bit janky, but I like how they did the beak at the front. Honestly, it's the dark gray that I don't love on the heads. I kind of wish they didn't use that, and just lean more into the green, orange, and teal. I guess I didn't point out the motion on the small heads, by the way. There's not a ton. The heads at the front just connect to robot arm pieces so you can move them up and down. And then the 2 at the back use Skulkin arms instead, so you get a little more motion out of them, because they can still move up and down, but you can also turn them in the Skulkin hand. You can also theoretically do that with the tiny heads, but there's a lot more resistance in the robot arm pieces, so you gotta be very careful when turning it or else you're gonna break something. I think they did a pretty good job fitting all 9 heads in here. Obviously that's not easy. We've seen in Ninjago with like the Ultra Dragon, just fitting 4 heads is tough. And obviously they made some of them smaller and some of them bigger, but the final model ends up very impressive because they did manage to get it all here. Returning to the Beast's back, there is a play feature here I didn't mention before. You can see there's these 2 red tactic pieces sticking up, and they do seem a little bit out of place, but I guess you could imagine that as like a saddle or something. But anyway, if you push down on them, it'll actually flap the wings up. That's super easy to do, and the motion works really well. So if you're having the bird fly through the air, that's a great way to represent that. Here's a look at the underside of the bird, which is not something I would usually mention, but of course I do like the bright green. That's a very good color. But also there's stickers down here, which is a little surprising, because this is fairly tucked away, and you're not usually going to see them. But hey, that's some nice extra detail. I do appreciate that. But then, of course, we have the legs. Now, I think this is the part of the set that makes the build the most bird-like because there is only 2 legs, and they do a good job to capture the bird talons at the bottom. You got the 3 toes at the front and the 1 at the back. I appreciate the stickers here to add some more silver detailing as well as these pieces to be feathers again, and then this rounded piece at the top does a decent job to cover up the joints. The legs connect to the body on pretty standard rigid tactic joints, so you're able to swivel them pretty much a full 360. The wings might get in the way a little bit, but still, it's very impressive that that motion is there. And of course, you can fold them in a little as well as fold them out more. And the balancing is good. Like, I'm able to get it with 1 foot slightly up so it looks like it's walking around. And just seeing it like this, they did really capture that bird shape really well. My girlfriend has pet birds, so I've spent a lot of time around them, like looking at them up close. And I definitely see them in this build. Like, that personality, that shape and everything is captured quite well, which I think is really cool. They actually did a fantastic job. Not sure I have anything else to point out about this main build. I will say it's a little small for the price of this set, but again, I'll talk about that later in this video. But without side builds, like based on the size of this, just this build on its own, I would expect this to be like $50 or $60. Oh, I guess one more thing I didn't point out, there's a clip back here. That's to hold on to the 9-headed demon's accessory when he's in this form or when he's riding on it. Very fun build overall, though. I'm quite happy with it. Now coming to the side builds, here's the first one in this set, and it's just a small little temple. First off, I want to point out an all-new part for this set and this wave. We have these steps that lead up to the temple, and these are like a 2x4 with a little lip and rounded piece coming off of it, and that rounded part at the front can fit a stud underneath it. That comes in a few of the sets this wave, but yeah, I thought it was an interesting new piece. And I think that is all new for Monkey Kid. I've not seen any other themes use it. But anyway, the rest of the little temple is cute. I like the colors used. Nothing too crazy in terms of the build, though, aside from those new pieces. We do have another one of the 5 color stones. This time around, it's the red one. And if we remove that, you can see behind it we have like this mural, and it seems to be depicting Nuwa discovering this stone. Here's a look at that in better lighting. I really love how they did her snake tail, where it's like curling in on itself. That looks super cool. Very cute little simple design for the roof, and you can see that new piece is used once again here, and there's an actual full look at the piece. So yeah, this is a nice inclusion, a nice addition to the set. I like that there's a place to keep the collectible. That reminds me a lot of like 2011, 2012 Ninjago, which is what I grew up with. I always had so much fun like having my characters discover the golden weapons in those sets, so seeing that for collectibles and themes like this is always very cool. Also, there's tactic pins on the side, so you can connect this to your other Monkey Kid sets if you want. Yeah, this is a good side build. I'm fairly happy with it. And then finally for the builds, we have a little Monkey Kid back, which this is cute. This is very silly, but I like it. It's a funny little mech. Definitely one of the smallest we've seen in a while, but that does not make it bad by any means. You're able to lift this up, and there's room to fit a figure inside, of course. So here's how it looks to slot Monkey Kid in, wrap it back up around him, and you can see there's a clip on this arm where you can store his staff while he's in the mech. But yeah, one arm's got a stud shooter on it. Of course, you push that down, stud shoots out. The other arm does have like a little elbow on it, as well as 2 claws to grab onto a minifigure. It is able to successfully hold a minifigure, so that's good. And then there's a stickered piece on this little jetpack build on the back, and this can very easily be removed. So this is far from the main draw of this set, but hey, it's cute, it's fun. I think kids especially will really like this. Despite being quite small, it clearly has a lot of love put into it. Now moving to the minifigures, here are the first 2 in this set. We have Monkey Kid and we have Mr. Tang. Monkey Kid is kind of a new minifigure, but not really. The torso print is from his racing suit, which is in the $35 set from earlier this year, like the vehicle collection one. But the leg print is the one that he's had for a while, and he didn't have that leg print in that set, but he does have it in this set. So technically a new combination of parts, but none of the parts actually are new here. Still though, I do like this torso print on him. It uses very little red, which is something different for him at least. He's leaning much more into the black and the bright orange here, though of course he still has the Monkey King symbol on the back, though now the teeth are metallic silver instead of white, which is an interesting change. Leg print though is good as usual. I love the teal belt on it, I love the dual molding, but we've had this for at least a year now, maybe longer. I can't keep track of all the Monkey Kid minifigures because they're all so similar but also slightly different. And then this face print I believe is the one introduced earlier this year in the Megapolis set, so it's cool to see that again. I do quite like the winking face on Monkey Kid, but then the alternate face is a very standard face for him. So yeah, this is a good version of this figure, nothing exceptional but nothing bad either. It makes sense to be included in a set like this. this. And then Mr. Tang is the one from Megapolis, so it's cool to get him again and in a slightly cheaper set. He uses the Ninjago movie scarf piece in red, which is not a new color or anything, but very cool to get that. And I quite like his sweater printing, actually. It's in tan, and I like how the printing makes it look quite fluffy. I feel like that'd be quite comfortable to wear. Taking the scarf piece off, you can see the full sweater print, and it's got like this really nice red trim around it, and there's a little bit of gold detailing too. Yeah, that's actually quite a good torso print. I feel like that could be useful for custom figures too. Tang's using the face he's been using, I think, since last year. He's angry on one side, and then on the other side his glasses are off and his eyes are closed. I'm always happy to see Tang come in sets, because he's not nearly as common as he should be. It's getting a little better now. It was much worse in the first few waves, but still, he's not nearly as common as he should be. So yeah, nothing too new on either of these figures, but it's a good start. I'm glad they're included in this set. But then coming to the next two figures, these two are a little more interesting, because they are both all new for this wave. Monkey King is actually exclusive to this set in this outfit, and then May's outfit is new, but it does come in one other set. So starting with May, she is wearing what looks to be a dragon fanny pack, which is a super cute, ridiculous idea that I adore, and obviously harkens back to the imagery that we see in a lot of the sets that are themed around her. But then underneath that fanny pack, it might not be super obvious from the front torso print, but it's very obvious from the back, she's actually wearing overalls, which is a different look for her, and I think that's cool too. The overalls are in teal, which is a very common Monkey Kid color as we've seen in this review, but unfortunately she does have unprinted legs. I would have liked to see a little something there because it's May, she's one of the main characters of the show. Would have been nice to even just get like pockets on the pants that would have made them a little more interesting instead of just regular teal, but the figure doesn't look bad without leg printing. Then she just comes with her standard dragon blade sword, as well as her standard hairpiece and her standard face print. The face print is just the one that has a smirk on one side and an angry expression on the other. Just notice the inside of her overalls is actually metallic silver. That's a pretty neat detail. So good minifigure overall, I actually quite like this new version. And then Monkey King's wearing the new team outfit in this set. All 6 members of the main Monkey Kid cast get this outfit, and 5 of them come in one set and 1 comes in another. So yeah, this is the only one that doesn't come in the set with the rest of them. And this is a very interesting new outfit. So all the characters look to be wearing sweatshirts and sweatpants, which is a very funny idea, and I'm not sure exactly why, but I'm kinda all here for it. It's just so different than anything we've gotten before in Monkey Kid, and especially from Monkey King specifically. And I kinda just love it. And the coolest thing about this is they didn't just go the boring route and make it gray sweatpants and a gray sweatshirt. No, that's actually metallic silver for the legs and metallic silver for the arms. You might be able to see it a little bit better if I reflect it in the light. But yeah, that takes this from a, that's interesting kind of figure to, wow, that's actually really cool. And despite all the characters wearing the same outfits, they each get their own exclusive torso prints. And that numbers each of the characters, so you can see Monkey King here is number 3. He's got that in the corner, as well as on his back torso print. But for example, on the other set that these outfits come in, Monkey Kid is number 1 and May is number 2. And then it goes all the way up to 6 for every character. So a bit weird that this guy's not in the same set as the rest of them, but I'm still happy that Monkey King got one. And it puts an exclusive minifigure in this set, so hey, that's something. Faceprint, by the way, pretty standard Monkey King stuff. He's surprised on the alternate side. The only part I don't like is the tail piece. You can see it's yellow at the front, which somewhat matches the undershirt, but it still looks like his belly's sticking out a little bit. It's like he's wearing a crop top. So I would have liked if that was colored silver to match the pants instead, but that would have required a new print, so I get why it's not like that, but still would have been cool to see. So this is probably my favorite figure in this set, at least of the heroes, but we do have one more to look at, and that's probably my favorite of the entire thing. And that's, of course, the actual 9-headed demon. Before we get to that, though, I realized I forgot to mention what Monkey King is holding. But he's got a staff with a chain and a banana coming off of it. Maybe he's trying to lure the beast with the banana? I'm not sure why it's hanging off a stick, but that's a funny accessory. But now, coming back to the 9-headed beast, just like the build of the set, the colors here are the absolute highlight. The teal with the dark green and the bright green all come together so nicely. The only part I don't like, actually, is the orange. I like the orange on the main build because it's used very sparsely, but I think especially on the arm of this minifigure, the orange doesn't fit the best. I feel like it's maybe a little bit too overbearing. I would have liked them to lean a little bit more into the dark green instead. But even still, that doesn't make this minifigure not amazing. He carries this little, like, spear staff piece as his weapon, and with that removed, you can see the figure a little bit better. He has, like, snakes for hair, and if you count them, there is exactly 9 in there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 2 more around the back. I don't know what that means for the actual face he has in the center right here, but yeah, there you go, there's his 9 heads. And this is an all-new rubber hairpiece. This is a really good part. With that removed, though, you can see the full face print, and he does have this, like, freaky, ugly demon face. I can't say I love the face print. He looks a little weird, but I think that's kind of the point. And he's got an alternate face where his mouth's open, and actually, I like that one quite a bit more. There's just so much personality there, and that face is really wacky. While we're here, we can take a look at this cape piece. This is a cloth cape piece, and it's in bright green, similar to Mateo from LEGO Dreams. This one, though, is like the tattered Batman cape, and I don't think we've gotten it in that color before, so that's very cool to see. And there's look at the back torso print, too, which is also quite good. Really like how all this looks. That little scaled pattern's quite cool, too. I really like how the torso and legs come together. That's a super smooth transition. Would have been even better if it was dual molded, but honestly the fact that it's not isn't a huge deal. So yeah, this is a great minifigure. He's not exclusive to this set, he does come in one other, but I'm happy there's multiple ways to get him. And so, overall, what are my thoughts on this set? Well, one thing I haven't touched on too much yet is the price, and that's the one thing holding me back from recommending this. Because honestly, I love this set. It's not a normal type of LEGO set, it's not just like a standard dragon or vehicle or whatever. It's something very unique, both in terms of color scheme and build, what it actually is. We don't get giant birds often, and we definitely don't get giant birds with 9 heads. And I think it's genuinely very well done. It feels like a very fun, wacky build, and it reminds me a lot of like the late 2000s LEGO themes that I grew up with. But yeah, that price is the biggest limiting factor, because $100? What? Where did that come from? If I was just looking at the size of this build and I didn't have the piece count, I would assume $50 or $60 for the main build. So with the side builds, probably $60 to $70. But knowing the piece count's at $657. So that makes me go, okay, $70 or even $80 would probably be a perfectly fair price for this set. But $100, that's too much money. They're asking way too much. This set's great, but it really isn't that big. And the minifigure selection's good, but it's not spectacular. It's not $100 worth. So if you're a Monkey Kid fan, or you just like weird and wacky LEGO builds, I do recommend this set if you could get past that price. If you've got a bit to spend and money's like not that much of an issue, you're just looking for cool looking LEGO sets, then 100% I recommend this. But if you're buying on a budget like at all, and it's between this and something else, you could probably get a better value elsewhere. And that's a real shame, because I do really like this one, but that price is just not it. But of course, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think of this set in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it and subscribe to my channel if you're new. And let me know in the comments which 2024 LEGO Monkey Kid set you want to see an early review on next. But as for this one, I think that's about all I have to say, so thanks for watching everybody, I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Thanks for watching everybody, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!